a functional vinyasa flow, focusing on safety and alignment, and it weaves in pranayama and meditation as a part of the integration. So sometimes that gets left off in our foundational 200-hour, but it's very integrated in this training. So it's very important. What I'm hoping to do is give you some information about the training, so core competencies, the schedule, how that works, and then how you would move forward. And I'm super excited because for the very first time, so this is my studio in Northern California. I'm very thankful for it. It's a blessed space. But for the very first time, we're offering 2 locations for in-person. So you can do in-person. You could, yes, of course, you could fly to Northern California and hang out with me for 4 days. Or if you're closer to Connecticut and Yoga for Everybody Studio and Fairfield, you can go there, and I'm coming there. I have been teaching 200-hour and 300-hour programs for almost 20 years. Oh my goodness, not my first day, right? So very fun, and it's always spectacular. So teaching is very healing. At least it has been for me. And Ingrid, I see you nod. This aspect of like, when I show up and I'm fully with my attention in a boundaried way, right? In a clean boundaried way, my attention is on others to be helpful. It's like I get over myself and I speak clear. One of the aspects, and again, I'm going to start going into content right now, but one of the really important aspects is art of teaching. And art of teaching is speaking in a clear, succinct way in the present moment without apology. Now, that might not speak to you, but for many of my friends, that's like very important to learn to speak clearly from the heart with intention without saying, and if you want to, if you could, maybe if you, right? I want to apologize for myself because dare I be too big? We look at the asana, the postures, and we look at them with functional anatomy and what their purpose is and how to do them properly. And why we start there is because we can hurt people. And usually people come with an understanding, like I would think that when we say elbow, everybody knows elbow. But if I say energetic field or unbound consciousness or something like that, we might be like, I don't know, right? So we start with the entrance, which is elbow, 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 and we start with the asana. With that, learning how to do it functionally so it's actually easier. So it actually does what it's supposed to do, right? Then we start to build physical confidence. And from that, we start to, okay, how do we teach this in present moment? So what I mean by that, the art of teaching, the art of cueing, you coming into your voice and saying, lift your arms instead of, we are lifting our arms. If you want to, lift your arms. Kind of lift your arms, right? So we will work that. And there's an energy. And the first time you might be like, lift your arms, right? But then it starts to be something that you embody because it's a repetition and you start creating the synapses in the mind. So we move with the asana. We do an asana practice pretty much every time we are together. Okay, we'll talk about schedule. It's 2 to 3 times a week, depending on the week. We're live streamed, it's recorded. If you need to miss, you're not going to want to miss. Just that's how I find people are like, I'm going to miss a lot. And then they're like, I figured out my schedule. I don't want to miss. It's so fun. I don't want to miss. Okay. But if you do miss, you can miss up to 25 hours and have it made up in the recordings. And so we just make sure that you watched it and you send a little sheet and you know, you're covered. But we practice almost every practice. And then we break down whatever we're focusing on. So let's say we won't get to inversions for a while, but let's say we're focused on inversion. Today we will focus on inversions. We'll start with, okay, we're doing handstand. The joint that's at risk, so we'll look at it, functional anatomy, is the shoulder. How do we stabilize that? We'll look at that in anatomy, and then we'll practice the engagement, talk it through, and then you'll teach it. Now, you're like, well, I don't do handstand. That's absolutely okay. You don't need to do handstand. What we need to understand is how to get there and then how to speak it. I have taught when I couldn't walk. Some of you are in the room with me, big and pregnant, sitting on a chair, couldn't move my legs, right? But I had this and I had this. So as long as you have this, and this, you can teach, right? So I'll teach you the methodology of like, how do you build from that simple down dog to that handstand and so on, right? It's not like you're practicing the whole time, and it's not like you're sitting here on Zoom. Each day will also have a focus, either a philosophical focus or a some sort of specialty topic focus. We'll go through, accessible, how to work with all different bodies, sizes, shapes, all different ages, right? All different. We'll look at energy, philosophy, the subtle body, the chakras, the nadis, the marma points, right? Very few trainings do marma points. I'm so blessed. I've had some very potent marma point teachers in my lineage, so I share that with you. Pranayama, breath work, meditation. You will be able to teach multiple and many pranayamas, including meditations, and to all populations, whether you're popping into a corporate, you're popping into a church, wherever you're going, you will be able to center that group and help them reset their nervous system and feel better. So the content is Yoga Alliance certified. So there's certain things we have to cover. We have been A-OK'd, and it's accredited with the American Yoga Council, which I'm really excited about. This is a very high level council, and I'm a level 3 teacher. There's only 4 levels, and the 4th levels are like oldest elders, and they gave me a level 3. So I feel very honored. Okay. Finish the training. You have a consistent movement practice that's right for you. And for some of you, that might be like, okay, these are the things I'm doing, my handstands or whatever. Okay. And for some of you, that is moving your spine and healing your shoulders and upper back or whatever it is. But you have a practice where you move, you breathe, and you get quiet every day, where you journal and you self-study and you're watching your transformation. Okay. That's what I'm hoping you have. Absolutely, by the end of our time, that you have the ability to stand up in front of other people and speak from your heart and teach, whether it's 10 minutes, but you will have the ability to teach an hour-long yoga class. You will have the ability to teach a pranayama and meditation class, right? So asana, pranayama, meditation, all of it. You could step in and do that, right? With confidence. You will have a certified anatomy. It's a third party. It's through my dear friend and collaborator, Rachel. I love her anatomy focus. Again, Rachel Scott, I'm putting her in the, she has lots of YouTube videos. So she runs our anatomy. It's third party, meaning that you go through there and then it sends me the certificates, right? That'll finish the training. And so the training hours are live stream Wednesdays and Friday mornings, Wednesday evening if you're on the Eastern, Wednesday late afternoon if you're here in the Bay Area, and then Friday mornings early for the Bay, medium for East, and then 6 Saturdays that are sprinkled throughout the 4 months, okay? And again, you can miss up to 25 hours of those and make them up, okay? You're still making them up, but you can watch them after. Person, very end of October here for 4 days in intensive, or you're in Fairfield, Connecticut with Ingrid and I in Connecticut at Yoga for Everybody. Okay. Those in-persons are intense, right? And that's all the things that are not as easily taught online. So that is more advanced asana, how to prop, how to use all the specific props so you could feel them, touch them. You'll have a certain amount at home ideally, but right? We'll want to do that in person. All the hands-on assisting, which is a lost art. I have to say, it's starting to dissipate from COVID. So I will teach you safe, respectful, appropriate to this time, hands-on assists. And so we will learn and we'll also teach in person. To finish the training, you need to fulfill your hours appropriately, like make up any hours that you miss. A couple homeworks and mostly reading. You will also have 2 recordings and reviews, which means depending on where we are, I'll say, okay, friends, Warrior 2, please record 3 minutes of teaching Warrior 2 and then send it to me, by text message for review. Okay. So you'll have 2 of those. They're super helpful. and kind of fun once you get over like, oh God, right? Then you will have 2 exams. This is at the end of the training. One will be a take-home exam that you hand in, right? So you have open book for that. And one will be right here in class, which is kind of like on the honor system, but we'll all do it together, right? So that's ideally not open. When we're in person, you'll have a practicum. I'll watch you teach pranayama and meditation, and then you will do a group class where you will teach a section with everybody else. And I'm looking at you, Ingrid, because that group class is like a party. I mean, it's a little nerve-wracking, but it's really a party. So that's the schedule. That's the content. Ingrid, would you be willing to share anything that comes that you want to add to that from your own experience?
Of flying out to San Fran for the retreat aspect of my 300-hour yoga teacher training program for me. And I had the most incredible spiritual time being with women from all over the world that had folks that had flown in from Europe to attend this 300-hour. And it was such a, oh my gosh, well, I wish I would have done a 200-hour with Mel. You know, it was, you don't know what you don't know. As someone who, just a little background on me is that I bought this yoga studio, wellness center that it is now, without being a yoga teacher. And when I bought it, there was a 200-hour program that was running. So I went along with it. And you don't know what you don't know until you experience something like what Mel and Rachel had put together that was so incredibly comprehensive. And I was like, oh my God, I was missing so much for my 200-hour. So I'm actually going to be a student along with all of you and redoing my 200-hour. So I'm not even finished getting certified as a 300-hour because I want to redo my 200-hour. So I did tons of work for the 300-hour.
Come together at the same time, Ingrid. You're going to just be like, boom, 500.
Right. That's exactly what's going to happen. And it is really incredible to be able to have the time to process. I know a lot of folks, because a lot of folks come and ask me about 200-hour programs. Am I running one? I have not run one right? So it is my honor to be able to host the East Coast retreat at Yoga for Everybody, because the soul, the integrity, the authenticity, I'm going to get emotional, that this woman brings along with Rachel and Mary is like, oh, it's like the dream team of teachers, of just being so soulful, understanding each student. And then when we come together for the retreat, it's like the icing on the cake. Absolute icing on the cake. It's where everything comes together. And if anyone was scared of inversions, like I was, I'm like, how do you do it? I got into a headstand. I couldn't even believe it. It was liberating. I mean, it wasn't just about obtaining the inversion. It was what the inversion represented. It was a limiting belief that I had. And it was wonderful to be in an environment that was so incredibly supportive. And the amount of knowledge that these women have is absolutely just, I mean, it's just incredible. I can't say enough. So for me, it's an honor that, you know, I'm collaborating with Mel to have the East Coast retreat. But I can't wait to see her again. Really, truly incredible and life-changing.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Ingrid. I really, really, really appreciate it. And it is about connection, right? So hopefully, yes, you'll learn a lot of things, and they're of a lineage. We're on the Krishnamacharya lineage. We'll go deep in the history of yoga, deep in the philosophy. Everything has a root and a meaning, right? And where there is functional science behind it, we will also be looking, supporting, okay? So you will have that, and its connection, and its consistency, and it's the energy of support. So wherever is you're kind of hiding that back there, right? It makes you feel like maybe you are an imposter in some way. This is where I feel like that loving connection, and I'll call it a sisterhood, though we've had just recently, right, Jen? We had some great men. We had some great men in our group. Oftentimes it's mostly women, but we had great men. So just our human group supports such growth. And so then we do stay connected, because it's hard to have that kind of heart opening and transformation and step into your power, and then, not stay connected. Then if there's other things, like you need more time with the anatomy, you need more time with some of the additional taking classes on the MelWell platform, which come with your training. I want you to take MelWell classes specifically from me, and then Mary will be on the platform, because I want you to hear the method in process, right? So you can, of course, you can take classes anywhere, but you won't hear the method. And I want you to hear the method, which is intentional. It's not, not for nothing. So you can finish those later. So you can take as much time as you need. I mean, I don't want you to take over a year, because I feel like you'll dissipate too much. But I'm here to work with you in whatever way needs to happen. I launched it. So so I was with, just so of you, I don't know if you know Yoga Works, but I was a part of Yoga Works. I was one of their senior teachers. I taught for 18 years, their teachers, 200. And then I went to Chopra, literally 5 days after I left Yoga Works.
I was wondering when you left. Okay, you told me.
5 days later, Chopra signed me on as their lead trainer. What an honor for the Chopra Institute. And I did that for so many years. And then we transitioned to a new name. The Chopra family was a lovely family, and I was an honor. So I've been teaching for a really long time, a lot of training, and with a lot of really quality people. And what I will say is that the practice, no matter if there's one person who ends up being way too human, you still go on. The practice in itself and its essence is good, and it's not reliant on one person, and it's not reliant on anything being fancy or beautiful or whatever, young or whatever, or skinny. It's not relying on any of this. It's relying on you speaking from your heart and you healing with it, and then sharing that with others.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. Maggie, everything's connected. So even though we start with the physical body, right? When the physical body is aligned, the energy body is aligned. So when we understand that, then we can regulate the nervous system faster and get quieter faster. And when we get quieter faster, we can feel our intuition more efficiently. So instead of, like it bashing you over the head, like, you're like, why didn't I listen? Like you get a little, and you go, that's not for me, or yes, that's for me. So that spiritual aspect of learning from a lineage, right? But it's really about the consistency of being able to tune in to the unified field of consciousness. And that takes just understand, you can do it. I say to my kids, I have 3 boys, you can do it the easy way or the hard way. And I like to go the easy way, right? Let's stabilize, take the breath, and get a little quiet and check in, do your journal, and keep on going, right? So yeah, I'm excited by it too. In the training, you feel like, okay, yes, I want to move forward, which is fantastic, right? Do an application. I'll know you're here. I'm going to email you after and be like, check in with you. How you doing? How can I help you? And wherever you want to go, right? So, but ideally you do an application. Since you were here, if you do an application, right now we're in early bird for the tuition. So early bird is $300 off the regular tuition. If you are interested in, I have an ITA, in training assistant. That's what Jen did for this previous training. It's 50% off. You do work, right? There is work involved. If that gets filled and you're still like, oh, I need some help. Really, I'm interested in leaders and healers in the world. That's what helps me sleep at night. So, let's talk. Let's see where there could be another area that you have an expertise that you could help our training, our world, and then we can help you out. I'm willing to do also a 3 installment payment plan. Okay. So I'm here to help you make it happen. I don't want you to be like, I want to do it, but it feels hard. I'd say there's, waiting. Oftentimes, if you're a hell yes, waiting, what are we waiting for? I'll help you. Let's get you going. You are a hell yes. Let's get you going, because what happens if you wait longer before you step into who you want to be? What happens? It's costly. Okay. Total cost before the discount is the tuition is $34.99. Right? With the early bird, it's $31.99. Again, friends, especially if you're doing good in the world and have good intentions on where you want to take this, I'm very open to talking to you and helping you make this right for you. Okay? Thanks for being a person interested in doing good in the world. Yeah. Yeah. It means something. May it have a ripple effect. Okay. Thanks, everybody.